Hello and welcome back. This video, I know I still need to carry on with my POR series, but this video is just going to cover off Always On VPN. Now, I know there's a lot of information out there for this. The stuff on Microsoft Learn is actually very good if you want to get up and running with domain joined devices. And there are various blog posts out there to assist you with getting it set up with Entra. However, I found they've all been a bit disjointed. That's nothing against their posts because it's very good information, but things have changed. As all things do in the cloud and with technology, things have slightly changed. So I wanted to put together this series for Always On VPN, but target this specifically at Entra Join. Why Entra Join? Well, every device now, ideally, will be Entra Joined moving forward. I know there's still a lot of reasons to keep domain joined, but with Cloud Kerberos Trust and the likes of that kind of thing, you really can access all your AD resources quite happily using Windows Hello for Business. Because again, using Windows Hello for Business, you can use things like passwordless and ensure that extra security layer. I've seen a lot of domain joined devices still. People want to take advantage of things like fingerprint biometrics on the device, or look at that and smile at their PC and it opens up for them. I'll be honest, my experience of Windows Hello for Business with Face seems to be a bit hit and miss sometimes on my Surface, but I like it. My Mac with Platform SSO unlocks with linking into my Apple Watch, which I think is pretty neat, but that's not really Windows Hello for Business. So, Always On VPN. Yes, I've been playing around with this, and I've got a new blog post series. I think there's five posts for this with getting it set up with NDES, your Network Device Enrollment Service. However, I'm also using this with Cloud PKI with Microsoft's Intune PKI service. But I will do a separate video on that. The fundamentals of Always On VPN is you need a RAS box, so Windows running routing and remote access services. You need an NPS box, so Network Policy Server, and of course you need a client. You also need certificate authority running to issue your certificates. For Entra Joined, you also need an NDES server. So that NDES server will run the cloud certificate connector for Intune, and will also run the Entra private network connector, the artist formerly known as App Proxy. That will enable you to publish your NDES URL externally without having to worry about things like Windows Application Firewall or anything like that. Not Application Firewall, Windows App Proxy. You can do it through that if you want to, or you just publicly expose it. Not advisable, but yeah, just use something like the private network connector, and that gives you the ability to create an enterprise app and publish your SCEP URL that way, and then you deploy the certificates via Intune. So this series is going to take you through that journey effectively. You can follow along with the blog post. I've got the screenshots there, commands there. I'm getting quite into this whole thing of let's do a blog post and let's do a video alongside that. I don't know if that helps or doesn't help. It's a lot of work, I'll be honest, but actually it's something I enjoy doing in my spare time, and it helps me relax, believe it or not. I need to get more of a life. But yeah, so is Always On VPN still valid? I think it is. I don't think a lot of businesses are still ready to go down the global secure access route just yet. But it's certainly getting to that point where we're not going to need AOVPN much longer, I think. So I think this is still a valid technology. It's all preferential, I think. That's my excuse. But I'd just like to take you through my process of setting it up. This is very rudimentary. You can add complexity to it if you want to. I'm only running it with my RAS box running as a single NIC in there. You could also run it with an Azure VNet gateway. So have that as your RAS endpoint, so you don't need to worry about a server there. Of course, you've got to bear in mind the cost of that. My setup, I'm running my Razbox in Azure, although that's not technically supported, it will run. So again, there's a supportability case there. I had some issues running with Raz on my lab at home, but also I've got an IKE VPN site-to-site from my UDM to Azure anyway, so I've already got port 500 and port 4500 opened up, so I can't route it through. I need another IP address. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. I just wanted to give a quick intro into this video, and why don't we just get started in getting into the bare bones of the technology. So here I am on my, I want to call it a management box, but it really isn't. It's my Entra Connect box. I'm a big fan of using a management workstation. So typically you would have this, the remote server admin tools installed onto a Windows 11 device. But basically I'm just trying to save resources on my virtual infrastructure. But I'm using my Entra Connect box as a management device effectively, because ideally you don't really want to be logging onto the desktop of your servers. There's no real need to, other than exceptional circumstances. One here being certificates. I've tried to get certificates for my VPN server done through remotely, but I've just not had a chance to get that fixed or get that sorted. So I have to do that through the certificate management console locally on the device. I did try through Windows Admin Center, but again, hit some snags there. But for me, Server Manager, Windows Admin Center, and the remote PowerShell session work brilliantly on the servers. Anyway, my infrastructure consists of a handful of devices, plus I've got, it's gone into standby just now, but a client as well. So that's running Windows 11. That's just domain joined. So I've got my certificate authority, I've got my domain controller, my Entra Connect, my NDES box, we're not going to touch that just now, my network policy server, and my routing and remote access server. This one is sitting in Azure, so there are a few things you need to do to get it to work in Azure, but if you want that, drop me a note and I'll do a video on how to do that. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a couple of things needed. So we need some certificates, we need some security groups, and we need a service account. So it's a chicken and the egg. You could create the certificate templates, but then you need to edit them to add this security groups. So actually it's not chicken and the egg. Let's go and add the security groups first, because we need 3 security groups plus, in fact, no, sorry, 4, because we've got NDES involved, and we need a service account. So if we head over to Active Directory users computers, I've got my groups listed here. So I'm just going to go ahead and create them. So let's be really original. So group is VPN users. So that is for any of my users who want access via the VPN. And again, this container syncs up to Entra. So that will show in Intune, Microsoft 365, as when it's done. Again, not that I need to synchronize these server groups up, but it is going to sync up anyway. So I've got my VPN servers. Then I've got my network policy servers, because yeah, it's network policy server rather than service. So rather than calling it NPS servers, I'd much rather call it NP servers. And then I've got my NDES. So that's that one. And then let's go to service accounts and let's create a new service account. So I'm going to create a new user, just domain user, NDES service. And I'm going to be really original, NDES_SVC. Nothing fancy. Again, go with your policy. Password never expires. I'm going to set a pretty basic password here, but you would set a much longer, more complex password and store that securely somewhere and never let it expire. So that's that side of things done. Next, we also want to create a group policy because, as I mentioned, we're using certificates. So we want those certificates to be able to enroll in Active Directory. So head over to Group Policy Management Console and then go to your top level domain and right click, create and link new policy to this domain. So this is auto enrollment policy. Again, nothing fancy. Already exists because I create it. So VPN. So enrollment policy. I deleted the link rather than deleted the group policy itself. So let's go to this. Let's go to edit. And we need to make a settings change in both computer configuration and user configuration because these certificates target at both. Let's go to policies, Windows settings, security, public key policies, and then certificate services clients auto enrollment. So go into that and then enable and ensure you've checked these both and hit apply and OK or just OK. And then let's head down to user and do exactly the same. So Windows settings, security, public key policies, certificate services client, auto enrollment, and enable. Again, check both boxes. Done. So this just means any device can then receive the policies it requires. That's GPMC sorted. Actually, why don't we just go and let's go to computers, NDES. Let's put that member of the NDES group. Did create a group for NDES, didn't I? Oh, ND servers. Silly me. Just my fat fingers. Add. There you go. Apply that for the NDES box. Let's go back to computers, MPS, member of, add NP, so that's in the MP servers, RAS, member of, add, and VPN, so this is the VPN servers, apply OK, OK, right, that's all good. And then let's go to my user. So I've just got the one user now, which is syncing up to Entra. And let's put that member of and add VPN users. Great. So that's user groups or security groups and the service account taken care of. Next, we want to head over to our certificate authority. So I've connected to my certificate authority from my management PC. And you want to go to certificate templates. You can see there's nothing published just yet. So first things first, we need to manage the templates. So right click, manage, and here you've got your templates that are stored in Active Directory. So there's a fair few. We need 5 certificates. 3 are based on a copy of RAS and IaaS server, and 2 are based on user. So this one is for your VPN server, your network policy server, and your NDES server. Arguably, you could probably use the same certificate template for NDES and network policy because all it needs is a Active Directory signed certificate with the server name on it, so the clients recognize it. But I just wanted to create one for each of them. And again, both those you could argue you could do auto enrollment. But I'm just going to do it without the auto enrollment. You have to put it onto the server. The VPN server needs to have the subject name specified because that's going to be the VPN connection domain name, FQDN, so vpn.andykemp.dev in my example. And then you've got 2 user certificates. One is for domain joined, and then the other one is for the Entra Joined, which is targeted at the NDES service. The domain joined is targeted at that VPN users group. So why don't we go and create the first certificate? So we want to change the compatibility. So click OK when you get the resulting settings. So resulting change in settings. So server 2016. And then again, Windows 10 server 2016. OK. It's key you don't click on OK or apply when you're making this change, because some things are then set in stone. You can't change them afterwards. So if you do that, you need to cancel out and start again, or if you've already done that, delete the existing certificate. Actually, you can't cancel out and start again. You need to cancel out, delete that certificate template, and then start again. General, I'm going to be really original here, AOVPN-RAS, because that's my RAS servers, or VPN. Because I've taken a copy of RAS IaaS, that's unticked, and as is this, that's fine. We don't need to worry about that for the next two other certificates. Cryptography, I'm going to leave as is. Key attestation, again, leave as is. Superseded templates, don't need to worry. Extension, we do need to worry, because this, we need the IP security IKE intermediate application policy added. As you can see, it's not there, so just select application policies, edit, and add. So we can see that just down here, IP security IKE intermediate. So let's add that, and OK. Security. So this is where we want to remove the RAS and IaaS and add VPN servers. Well, VPN. I really need to get better with my typing on this. And this is enroll. Next, we want to look at issuance requirements. Nothing changed there. Service, nothing changed there. Subject name, supply in the request. This is key. So click OK to this warning. It just gives you a bit of a notice, and then click on OK. Next, we want to do the network policy server template. So duplicate. Again, let's update it to 2016 because some of the templates don't support that. General, AOVPN-NPS. Request handling, leave as is. Cryptography, leave as is. Everything needs to leave as is except security. Remove IaaS. And yeah, you've guessed it, add the network MP servers group and enroll. Subject name, just leave as it is because it's going to build it from Active Directory. So, okay. And then certificate number 3, duplicate template. Again, compatibility. Let's change that. Gets a bit repetitive after a while. AOVPN-NDES. Leave everything else. Security, yeah, you've guessed it. Remove and add. NDES service, not the service, remember. And enroll. Subject name, leave as is. And OK. Now we want to create the 2 user ones. So first one is duplicate template. Yep, let's do this. Do we need to do this for this one? Yes, we do actually. I was thinking probably not, but it's best to. General, AOVPN-user. I'm just going to call this user. You want to remove that publish in Active Directory and remove that. On cryptography, we need to change this to key storage provider and select requests must use one of the following providers. Let's just move the Microsoft Platform Crypto provider to the top and check both that and Microsoft Software Key Storage Provider. And let's change the hash down to 256. Key attestation, leave as is. Extensions, don't need to worry about because we've got client authentication, which is what's required. Security, yeah, you've guessed it. So let's remove domain users and add the VPN users. And this we want to do enroll and auto enroll. Now, the only other change here is subject name. It's build from Active Directory, but on the off chance your users don't have an email address, we just want to remove that because that then reduces any issues. So now, okay. And finally, we want to duplicate users again. Again, let's change the settings here to that. So AO VPN, I'm going to call this SCEP because this is going to be delivered via Intune. Request handling, general, remove publish, and that one. And then cryptography. I'm going to leave cryptography as is because I had some issues earlier with a legacy device that doesn't have a TPM chip in it. The software platform key software platform should work, but it wasn't for some reason, so I'm going to leave that as is. And the security, we just need to remove domain users again, but then add the NDES service. So NDES service, of course, SERV is still servers or service, so NDES service, and just want to enroll. Subject name, this we want to supply in the request because NDES is going to, or Intune's going to take care of that. So that is the certificates taken care of. Should be. Let's check. Now, if I go back to my device and let's run a command prompt and also certificates, manage user certificates. That's already pulled it down. Let me just delete that. Delete that one. Yes. So GP update / force. Nope. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. So I've created the certificates. That's not going to do anything. So that was from my previous testing. So apologies. The certificate shouldn't be there. If we go back to our certificate authority, where am I? There I am. So I've created those certificates, but we need to publish them. So new certificate template to issue, and you've got your 5 certificates. You could create one certificate, come in, publish, create the second certificate, come in and issue, but I just like to do them all in one go. So you've got the 5 certificates there to issue to Active Directory. Click OK, and there they are. They're at the top because they're the latest ones you did. If you had something beginning with Z, it will be up the top there until you hit refresh, and it goes into alphabetical order. But that is everything you need. And the key thing there is you can see your RAS has the IP security IKE immediate policy there as well. So if I just do an update, hopefully that should give me the certificate on this box. I am going to restart my servers purely because sometimes there are issues with certificates in the group membership because it needs to update the token, I believe. So I'll get an error saying you can't do this until the machine's restarted. So I'm just going to give those boxes a restart. So that's updated. Just hit refresh. Nothing yet. Could just be an Active Directory timing issue. I'm not too concerned, but you could just do request new certificate. Next. It's not picked it up yet. Probably actually because I've added that account to that user group. I need to log out, log back in. So if I hit a restart on my device as well. So let's do the user one first because I don't think that's going to take too long to connect. So I'm going to log in as my test user. Go to manage user certificates. Hopefully, no, there's nothing there yet. That's okay. I'm not too fussed. I do get a bit of patience sometimes. I want to do that from command prompt, don't I? And again, my typing is atrocious at times. Anyway, whilst that's connecting, let me connect to kdev-nps. Now, and of course, I've not enabled remote desktop on that one, I don't think. And the same for my NDES, possibly. Oh no, my NDES I have. So let me just do this one. DM_Andy. Log on. Maybe I've not set these servers up properly yet. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh no, there you go. So whilst that's loading up, let me just check my NPS box. Connect. So if I just run certificates on this one, so this, I want the computer certificates. So yes. Personal, there's nothing there just yet. So if I do all tasks, request new certificate, next, from Active Directory. There you go. There's my NDES certificate. Enroll, and that's succeeded. So that is the NPS one done. And then let's close that. Just going to minimize that. We don't need NDES just now. That's the NDES server pretty much finished with for the time being. Let's go to my RAS box. Remote desktop's disabled on my NPS. Let me just enable that. Okay. So again, kdev/dm_Andy. Almost spelled my password out there as I was typing it. So RAS box again. Let's go to. You could just do certlm.msc as well, rather than just going to certificates. But I just do certificates. certlm.msc. Get my typing again. I really need to get my typing sorted. There you go. certlm. Yes, I want to run that. So personal certificates. I've just got the Azure one there because this server's in Azure. Request new certificate. Next, from Active Directory. And there you go. It's got my RAS. Now you see here it says more information is required to enroll the certificate. So click on that and it brings this up. So here I want to select common name. So this is what the endpoint FQDN is. So vpn.andykemp.dev. Did I type that right? I don't have my glasses on, so I think it is. So let's add them both. So, sorry, not directory name, DNS. I'm getting too cocky here. So common name, vpn.andykemp.dev, and DNS is vpn.andykemp.dev. Okay, happy days, enroll. Succeeded. Brilliant. So we've now got that one there. And then let's try accessing my NPS now. So remote desktop connection. Done. And then computer certificates. Okay. Personal, nothing there. New. Request new certificate. Next. Next. NPS, done. And finish. There you go. There's my certificate. So let's just do this. on my client device. Maybe they're ready. No, not yet. The idea is because we've got the auto enroll, it should then, that's still not there. It should just enroll that user. So if I do request new certificate, let's check. That's still not coming up. More than often, issues are usually down to when your certificates or a configuration. So let's just check that template over. So I've got my user certificate. Let's go to security. VPN users is set. Enroll. Okay. And did I add my account into that group? So let's just check the groups now. VPN users, members. I am in there. Again, it's probably just a small timing issue. That's just me being impatient. Anyway, that user side of things, don't need to worry about just yet. So now we have the certificates there ready to go. We've enrolled the certificates on the servers. That's all good. We're at the point now where we're ready to configure the roles for Always On VPN. So as I mentioned, just for bog standard Always On VPN with domain join is you need routing remote access configured and also network policy server configured. So that is what we're going to do next. So before we go ahead and install the roles on the servers, I just wanted to double check my client machine. I think it's just me being impatient. It's not the first, and I know it's not going to be the last for things to happen. I just want them to happen immediately, but let's just have a look. Manage user certificates. Let's have a look. So personal, you already know something else is there because you now got the certificates container. So let's go into there. Excellent. There you go. So I've got my certificate. It's issued by my internal certificate authority. Go to details. You've got all the information here, certificate path. So it's all good. Happy days. So let's park that now. Next, we want to install the roles. Now, there are several ways to do it. One is let's go to the server, log on to its desktop, go to Server Manager, add roles. The other one here is, so I want to add the routing and remote access service, right click, add roles and features, cycle through this. Actually, another way to do it is you can either load up a PowerShell command and do enter-ps session, or just right click on the server, go to PowerShell session. Then we want to do a command for install Windows feature. And this one is direct access -VPN and include management tools. So if we do a return there, that will go away and install that. Next, let's do the one for NPS. So let me just remind myself of the command needed. I can't remember. I think it's NPAS, network policy, and let's just try that. Install -those feature PAS. Include management tools. I think it's NPAS. Great. So that's the way installing those. I'm not going to do NDES just now because we'll do that separately. Now, the network policy server, if I load up the remote tools for that, it won't let me connect, unfortunately. So connect to another computer, -NPS, do browse or click OK. It's just going to think about it. It's going to attempt to connect and it'll come back saying computer says no. I think. It'd be great if it doesn't, but it it will. So NPS also doesn't support Windows Server Core. Remote access does, so you could install remote access on Server Core. But again, my problem there is the certificates, getting the certificates onto that server via the command line. I've had some issues with. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but that's why I've gone for the desktop install on server. So there you go. There's remote access done, and there's my network policy server. If I go to remote access now, routing should have that management tool on there. There you go, routing and remote access. It may not be connected to the server because, again, I've had this configured before, so let me just remove that. It may connect you to, or initially when I ran it, it connects me directly to my Entra Connect box, and obviously it wasn't running, so I had to disconnect it from that. So just right click on the server, add server, and following computer, so akdev-ras, and you can see there it's stopped, it's not running. So this is the fun bit. Well, is it fun? I don't know. Just right click and configure and enable routing and remote access. So that'll go away and think for a moment or two. Next. The other thing you may notice is if you hit refresh up here, there you go, it's got the getting started wizard. So you could run that if you absolutely wanted to from there. But this, I want to go custom configuration, and then I want to do VPN access. Next, finish. Again, because I'm doing it remotely, it does take a bit of time. It gives you this warning, that's fine, just click OK. And it should then come up with a message to start it. Again, me being impatient. There you go, I want to start it. Just takes a few moments. I've hit refresh here. There you go, it's green. So that's all sorted. So if we log on to my NPS, let's close all this down, and if I do network policy server, see there now, I've got my NPS up and running. Just maximize this a little bit. So nothing really else needed to do here other than configure VPN or dial-up. So if I go to this, in fact, let's just stick with the RAS before I'm jumping to and fro. Sorry, just jumping ahead myself. So if I go to my RAS box, again, this is slow when you do it remotely, but it is usually the better way to do things from remote tools where possible. So the first thing I want to do is right click on the server, go to properties, and make a few changes here. God, it really is slow, isn't it? Again, that's probably down to my VPN, because I'm talking from my on-prem server to cloud server, and also my infrastructure is pretty low end. So security. I want to change this to radius authentication. And I want to go to configure. And here I want to add. So here I want to add my NPS box, akdev-nps.ad.ndcamp.dev. And I want to create a shared secret. Now, again, you probably want to create a long shared secret. So let me just create something. Generate a passphrase. Let's do it 64 characters long. Right, there you go. That's something I can use. And let's go to Notepad, just so I've got it there. So there's my shared secret. You can actually generate it in NPS as well. Actually, that's quite a good way of doing it. So you do the network policy server first and generate the key, but I've done it the other way around just because I'm awkward. So let's copy that, paste it in there and paste it in there and OK. So we've now got my NPS box added with the shared secret. OK, again, that's going to take a moment to save. Authentication methods, you could leave as is. You don't need that one, so I just uncheck it anyway. Don't need to worry about anything here. And then you want to do IPv4. So this is what will assign the IP addresses to your clients. 192.168. For argument's sake. Again, just specify what your needs are. Okay. And that's everything we need to do in the properties of the server. So, okay. Said we made some changes. Do you want to restart? So, yes. So it's going to restart routing and remote access on the server. So it stops and then it starts it. Yep, there you go. And then next, we just want to go to ports and properties. No, not properties. Go to ports. Maybe it was properties, sorry. No, it is properties. Yes, it is. So we've got 6 ports here or so. The only one we're interested in is the IKE v2. That's the only one that needs to be RAS and routing. So let's just disable routing on the other ones. And yeah, so that's left RAS and routing for IKE v2. If you have more than 128 clients, you can increase that here. Increasing that number will trigger a restart of the service. I think just disabling those doesn't. No, that doesn't. And that is your RAS box actually configured. So if we just take a copy of the shared key again, shared secret, because we need this in the NPS. Let's head back over to the NPS server, network policy server, sorry, and we could add the radius client and then add the policy, but we might as well just do it all together. So I just click on configure VPN or dial-up at the very top level of the tree. I want to do virtual private network connection. Next, radius client. So this is where we can add our VPN server. So akdev-ras.ad.andykemp.dev. You can verify. Sorry. Let's cut that out and just call it RAS server. Now click verify. So if I do resolve, there you go, it's got the IP address. Okay. Oh, I've got to copy that secret again because I did copy and paste. Silly me. Copy. So you can generate one here if you wanted to. So you click generate and that does the same for you. But I've already got one created. So clear. So I'm going to do manual. Let's just double check I did copy the right one. Control C again. Right. So that's my radius client added. Let's hit next. I want to enable the extensible authentication protocol. So check that box. I want to remove MS-CHAP v2, and this is to be protected EAP PEEP. And then click on configure. So here, that's the certificate we pulled down earlier, and we want to change that from secured password to smart card or certificate. So let's remove that and add smart card or other certificate. And if we do edit, there's not much there. Again, it's just the certificate. So, okay. Next, groups. So this is where you target your VPN policy to. So this is that VPN users group. That's all in there. Next. Now, don't need to worry about any of this. Don't need to worry about any of that. Leave the realm blank. And we click finish. So that is the VPN infrastructure pretty much set up. What you need to do now is ensure that you have a DNS name mapped to VPN, in my case, vpn.andykemp.dev. DNS record, a record to the IP address of your gateway, of your VPN server. And you also need to enable port 4500 and port 500 to forward onto that server. So once that's done, you should then be able to create a template connection to see if you can connect. So I just needed to update my DNS publicly to resolve my vpn.andykemp.dev. So if I just check that now, may have updated. I doubt it has. Again, patience. Ping vpn.kemp.dev. Oh, it has. That's the new IP address that it should be. If I ping ad.andykemp.dev, I can still ping the domain as well because I'm connected via my local VPN. So what I'll do here is let me just change my bridged. Let's do to the Wi-Fi. So that should mean if I do ping AD, yeah, I'm not connected via the VPN now, so it can't find my Active Directory. And if I do ping VPN, that's not going to work, possibly. How bizarre. Let's look up vpn.kemp.dev. I should have found it because it... Right. Try to see. No internet access. That probably doesn't help. Let's do shared, and I'll just drop my VPN connection. That's fine. So to be honest, I don't need my VPN connection just now, so there you go. That's better. So no, don't want that one. There you go. I've just lost access to my, but I can't find my AD. Brilliant. So the next thing, we just need to create a client template. So a couple of ways to do this. One is we can just go into here, go to VPN, open that, and add. Or the other way is let's go into terminal. So this is all as a user account, so I've not got any admin rights or anything on the device. And then I just want to run this command. So add a VPN connection. The name is andykempdev-template because this is a template, remember. And server address is what I've set. tunnel type is Ike v2, and the authentication method is EAP. So if I just run that, that's now created a VPN connection. So if I go down here, I've now got that connection. Don't connect yet. What I want to do is if I go into network, view network connections. So you'll see now I've got this dev template. If I go to that and properties, a few changes I need to make. So let's go to security. So that is set to what it should be. We don't want secured password. We want PEEP again. And then if we go to properties here, we want to verify the NPS server's name. So akdev-nps.ad.adcamp.dev. Let's copy that because we need that again in a second. And we want to use the certificate, verify that that's the certificate. We also want to don't ask the user to authorize a new certificate. And we also want to change this to smart card or other certificate. And then we want to hit configure. And again, we want to use a certificate on this computer, not a smart card. Verify the server again. So verify it's the NPS against this certificate. And we don't want to, don't prompt user to authorize new servers. Hit OK. OK. And OK. Now I haven't restarted the servers on my client side. I think that's always a good thing to do after you set it up, because chances are it probably won't connect. Oh, it did. There you go. So that's me now connected. I've not got connection to the network via the other VPN I had open. You notice here, I've not got any internet access. That's not an issue because we're just creating the template here, but we're now connected to the VPN. So now we've got the actual Always On VPN infrastructure up running. We want to be able to push out certificates to the clients via Intune to non-domain joined devices. To do this, we need the Network Device Enrollment Service, NDES, installed, and that creates a SCEP infrastructure which allows you to publish them out via a URL to your clients. That requires a few things to be installed on your NDES server. So firstly, the NDES service, which is part of certificate services. Secondly, you need the Intune cloud certificate connector. And then thirdly, you need Entra Private Network Connector, or the artist formerly known as App Proxy. App Proxy can be on any box, so you could have it on its own dedicated system. You may well be running App Proxy already, so just use that. But the Intune certificate connector needs to be on the NDES box as well. Along with NDES, for the certificate Intune connector to work, you need a few extra roles. So I just want to take you through that just now on how to install that. So we also need to add the NDES service to the ISI users group on locally on the NDES box. So we'll just go through that. And again, a lot of this needs to be done from the desktop of the NDES box to actually do the configuration. To install the role, again, much like before, let's just run it from here. So right click on the server in Server Manager. Let's go to Windows PowerShell. And we just want to add a Windows feature. So I've got it all pasted in the blog post, but actually whilst we're adding that, let's just add these extra tools as well at the same time. So we want to install the device enrollment, we want to install web server, we want to install web filtering, and we want to install the HTTP activation for .NET 3.5 and .NET 3.8. This is all part of the prereq for the certificate connector. So if I hit return, hopefully I put that in incorrectly, put that in correctly, and it looks like it's installing. So that's going to take a few moments. I've already downloaded the connectors from Intune, but if I go to my portal and let's just go to Intune, again, you can see I'm being bad here because I should be using my everyday admin account, but I'm using admin. I know I should be practicing what I preach. Shout at me later. So for the certificate connector, you go to tenant administration. And then you've got connectors and tokens and certificate connector. I already got one there because I had it running. That's now defunct. So let's delete it. And you just click add and it gives the option to download. So whilst that's downloading, but I've already got it downloaded on this server, I believe. So if I go to, where did I put it? This PC in a share. Again, let's delete these because these are all part of a previous one I was playing around with. So there's the Intune certificate connector and there's the Entra private network connector. Private network connector, let's just open up a new tab, is downloaded from Entra. So let's log into the Entra portal. And then we go to applications, enterprise applications, and you'll see it here. So again, it's got my NDES one listed because that's I had previously when I was doing all the screenshots for the blog post, but it's not actually installed. It's inactive because there's no connector there. Great. So your download connector service. So click download, accept and download, and it will download the exe file. So get those, put them somewhere where you can access them, and we're pretty much ready. So the other thing we need to do is add the NDES server service to the local group. So I've actually called mine NDES SVC, wasn't it? So that should have added my account to the local group. So let's log on to the NDES server now and finish the rest of the setup. So again, remote desktop connection. I think I was already connected to it, so I'll probably get an alert saying disconnected. No. Let's close that. Hit refresh. There you go. I get that warning up there because I need to configure. So if I just click on that, again, leave this account as is because this is the account I want to use to configure the service, not this is the account I want to use for the service. So that's just my admin account. We've only got the NDES service to configure here. And then, so I've already added the user to the local group via that previous command, or it should have done. I was doing it remotely, remember? So if we go to groups, let's go. There you go. He's that. He, she. Don't know what that one is. So let's select that account. So NDES _SVC. And again, use your nice long secure password. Mine's only small because I just wanted to type it. Then select your certificate authority. So that's all good. You can change this name if you install multiple NDES servers. You may want to put different ones in so it's a bit more clear. But again, I'm just going to leave that one as is. All this extra information is optional, so I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to leave the signature key provider and the key length all as default. And so it gives me a bit of a, this is what you can configure. So I'm going to go and configure. So whilst that is running, we also need to set a service principal. So the service principal is needed because we're issuing certificates via a URL. We need the permissions. So that is done through just a simple command prompt. So let's just run, actually, let's do it as a command prompt. Because what I've been learning through this recently is when you run certain command prompts through PowerShell, it can work sometimes, but other times it will fail. So I know what the command is we need to run, so I was just going to find it in the blog post. It is in there. So set spn -s, and we want http / and then the NDES server address. So okay, dev-ndes.ad.handicamp.dev, and then akdev / NDES svc, so the service account. So that registers the connector, the SPN, sorry. And in the process, that's still configuring. That's all good. So that will just take a moment or two. There you go, done. And then we want to go to IIS, because IIS has been installed on here as part of the process. Let's expand that. Default website, right click and edit bindings. And we want to add a new SSL binding, so HTTPS. And the certificate is that certificate we got earlier on. So this is why we need the certificate on the server. Click OK and close. The other thing we need to do is back in Server Manager, go to local server. We want to disable the IE enhanced security configuration just for the configuration of the connectors. That is purely because of it won't load up the sign-in login dialog box. You can enable it afterwards if you want to, or leave it disabled. I mean, it's a security judgment really. So I'm going to disable it just now. But then through doing that, if I load up, I don't want to sign in. Allow. This is really annoying how when you start up your browser. And then if I do https //akdev / ndes.ad. Can't type again. .dev and /cert serve /ms. I think it's just mskep. I'm just going to double check the URL. Yeah, it is mskep, not mskep. I wasn't too sure there. mskep /mskep.dll. Oh, it would help if I typed in the right place. mskep /mskep.dll. All being well, yep. So that's now showing that the device enrollment service is running quite happily. The next thing we need to do is, in prep for the certificates, is update the registry. So there, according to the Microsoft Learn article, there are a few other registry settings to do, but I think since that was written and since now actually half of that is done, already as part of the install. If we go into regedit, again, use this at your peril. It's one of those things like ADC-edit. Only play around with this if you know what you're doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, and I still play around with it, especially ADC-edit. It's a lifesaver at times. Just delete something. So, sorry, you go to HK Local Machine, Software, Microsoft, Cryptography, and then you've got mskep. So you've got these here. So what you need to do now is we called that certificate AOVPN skep, I believe. So let's just go and check. Yeah. So let's just copy that, just to make sure. I know it's not exactly hard to type, but I just want to do that and update each one of these registry settings with that. That reference. So we've got that set up. We're now at the position where we want to install the certificate connector. So again, I've got that on my server already downloaded. So akdev-ec There you go, share. Intune certificate connector, actually, cancel. I want to run as administrator. Run. Now, for this, I'm going to need to, so it's just, again, a next install option. But in the process of this, I am going to go back to Entra. Let's open up in another tab. So my, because my admin account is using passwordless, so is my everyday admin account I've got that uses passwordless as well. So I am going to get a temporary access pass for my admin account. I don't know how many of you use them. Those temporary access passes I think are absolutely amazing. They're a real lifesaver at times. I think, don't use them enough sometimes. So what would be good is if you can do a self-service request. You probably can. I just need to look at that for your user account to get a tap, especially for things like when I'm running with virtual infrastructure. So there's my tap. Again, when this video's up, you can try that. It's going to expire because I've set it to expire within an hour. Had I done it for 30 days, I would be killing myself, and you'll be laughing because you'll then have access to my environment. Now, the permission for to configure this, I believe, is just Intune administrator, I think. So you don't need to give yourself global admin. Again, using the principle of least privilege, you should be adopting that. So you want to ensure you've got SCEP checked, PKCS and PKCS imported certificates unchecked, and certificate verification also checked. Hit next. I'm going to use the system account. You could use the NDES account, but you need to add it to log on locally and log on as a service. I'm not going through a proxy, but fill in your proxy details if you are. It's going to check the prerequisites. Now I've installed everything I needed. It's good. And it's going to ask me which cloud. So you've got your public, Azure for government, and China. But we're public, so I'm just going to click sign in. If we hadn't disabled the enhanced security features, this would just start complaining here. So that's why we disabled it. dev.on.microsoft.com. So fill in my tap. That's me signed in. Also, I should add the account you are using to configure this needs an Intune license. If you don't have the Intune license, this will fail. And that's your certificate connector configured. One thing I will add, again, don't worry, when you go back to this URL now, you get an error. Don't worry about that. That is standard. That is normal. So that's all good. The next part of this is you need to access this URL from the internet. So you could publish this through an app proxy or reverse proxy or something, or a private network connector, artist formerly known as app proxy. So I don't have app proxy or Entra private network connector installed, so I'm just going to go ahead and install it on this server as well. Best practice, put it on its own server where you allow certain internet connectivity to it. So, of course, this is all best practices in this environment, honest. So I'm just going to go ahead and install that. It's going to ask me to sign in again. adm_d.kemp@dev.on.microsoft.com. Wants my tap again. Again, the tap's reusable for that hour, which is a real lifesaver. And that's the connector set up. So if I now go back to my browser, I'll leave that open in case I need to come back to it. So if I hit refresh here, we should hopefully There you go, active. And if I go to my connector, let's refresh, active. So we've got our certificate connector configured and we've got our app proxy Entra private network connector configured. What we need to do now is configure an enterprise application. So in enterprise applications, let's go to all applications. Not got much listed here. So I want to go to new, create my own application and configure an application proxy for secure remote access on the on-premises application. So that is all good. So let's call this Andy Kemp dev -scat. Create. Again, it doesn't save the name, so I have to add that here again. Andy Kemp dev -scat. So the internal URL, well, we need that URL we had before. I think I've closed it down, haven't I? So let's just save. No, it didn't. Did I load it on the... No, I didn't, did I? So let's just, okay. Okay, dev-ed.ed.andykemp.dev/cert srv/skep/m/skep.dll. Why am I getting the certificate warning there? Shouldn't be. You see there that you can't see the folder in there, but that's because it's a hidden URL. Let's go back to edit bindings. So, kdev NDES. Yeah, I've probably done a typo in my domain name. Of course, silly me. I wasn't on my device, was I? I was on my management device. Should have connected, but it didn't. Oh well. So let's... in fact, no, I wasn't on my management device. I was just connected from here, so I'm not worried. Again, you probably find you get a few things like that. So I want to paste that URL here. And you need to ensure that the URL ends with a backslash. Or is it a /? I never know which is which. You want to give it an external URL, so I just call it skep. And you could do some of your own DNS stuff, but I'm just going to leave it with the default. Pre-authentication, I want to select pass-through. And what you notice here on the external URL there, so that's the full URL. So if I copy that just now, and if I hit create. So yeah, of course I can't access this because I'm not connected locally to that device. I don't have the certificate for the CA on my Mac, so it's going to fail. So that's a way of creating it now. But if and this account won't work for it because it's not an AD account. So if I typed in that proxy address there, get something like that, or a gateway timeout, but that's not an issue. It just enables me to access the NDES URL from a synced user via app proxy. So once that's done, which I think it's finished, yes, it's finished, we need to create the template to issue the certificates. So we'll do that next. So we're now in a position to deploy the certificates to the clients. For this, you will need two certificates. One is the trusted root certificate from Active Directory, and the other one is your user certificate. Now, the trusted root is just an export from your ADCA to a certificate file, and then upload that and deploy that via an Intune policy here. So you go create a new policy, select your platform, so Windows 10 and later, and we want to select a profile type of template, and we've got our trusted certificate. You'll see here you've also got SCEP certificate. We'll do this one next. So trusted certificate. If we hit create, we want to call it Andy Kemp Dev Trusted CA, for argument's sake. Hit next, and it wants a certificate file. Now, we don't have that just now. What we want to do is head over to our management box. I've already run it previously. So we want to do cert util, use the config switch because I'm running this remotely. Specify the server name for your CA and then the CA name itself. And then you want to export the certificate authority root, so ca.cert, and the file to where you want to export it. So I just want to export it to my share folder. So that's that one there. So if I run this, you get the certificate, and then you get a command completed successfully message, hopefully. That's the file there. So let me copy this across to my downloads folder on my Mac, because I then want to upload it to Intune. So let me head back over to my portal. I want to select a certificate file. It's still copying, I think. Yeah. Cancel. It's there. There you go. It just took a bit of time for it to register. So that's now up. It's uploaded. If I hit next, I want to assign it. You can assign it to all devices if you want. I'm just going to assign it to my default devices because that's what I'm using via autopilot. Next. So that's going to my autopilot devices. Next. No applicability rules. Review. And yes, that's all good. So if you're following along with the blog, this is in part 5, just for reference sake. So if you see my eyes moving to the other side of the screen, it's because I'm just looking through the blog at certain points. Next, we want to create the user certificate. So let's go back to new policy, select platform, Windows 10 or later. It's a template settings, and it's the SCEP certificate. So if we just give this a name, so Andy Kemp Dev dash, just call it dash SCEP. Configuration, it's user. Leave the subject name format as is. I'm going to go for additional one of user principal name. So user principal name. And then we also need the, it's the URI, I believe it is. So that one we set to the on-premises security identifier. So let's do this and on-premises. I hate typing this sometimes. On-premises. That's it, I think. A security identifier. And that is, oh, apologies. Why is that not copying? On, there we go, it picks up, brilliant. Excellent, so that's done. Certificate validity, I can't speak today, is 1 year validity. There you go. I can say it. Key storage provider is I want to enroll to Trusted Platform Module, TPM, or key software provider. If not, key usage, I want to use digital signature and key encipherment. And then bits, I want to set 2048. And I want to use SHA-2. I then want to specify the root certificate. So that's the certificate we just updated, or uploaded even. So there's my trusted root certificate. And that's that part done. Next, we want to define the extended key usage. So this is where we want to use client authentication for Always On VPN. So just select client authentication. That's the only one you need to do. And then we need to specify the URL for the certificate. So let's head back over to our enterprise application. So go to enterprise application, select one you created and application proxy, and that gives us the external URL. So let's just copy that, head across, and then paste. So if I do next, again, add groups. So this one, I'm going to go to the default devices again, but only users who are members of the a VPN, I think it is, user group. No, VPN users wasn't, I called it VPN. So anyone also part of the VPN users group. So if I hit next, no applicability rules, review and create. So if I hit refresh now, that should, we can see them both there. So the next thing we need to do is ensure they are going to a client. Now I've got a client that's just been autopiloted. I say just been, it's actually in the out-of-box process. So let's take a look at that once it's loaded up. So I was hoping to show you via my Surface Pro 6 I've got, but my video capture card doesn't seem to like the mini DisplayPort to HDMI adapter, which is a bit rubbish. But this is my Entra Joined device I've got running on Parallels. It's gone through the device preparation, it's completed. You see there it's not got any certificates set up. That's because it will do it here. So you've got certificates waiting. If I head back over to my account, I was doing some stuff. I needed my temporary access pass for this one. So here we go. So it says it's deployed it to a few machines. So that's my Surface Pro 6. That's got the certificate on. Well, not that one because it doesn't go to the system account, it goes to the user account. So it says success there. If I go to my trusted root, it says succeeded 3. It's only 2 because I've rebooted this one. I've had some issues with my VMs. But you can see there. Oh, actually, sorry. No, I correct myself. That's 3 because it's also been pushed out to my user account on my Surface. So this is my Parallels VM. And this will just take a bit of time to go through. But the idea, once it's done, you will then have certificates viewing in your trusted root certificate and your on devices, and also trusted root certificate in user certificates, and also a user certificate with your name that's linked to that trusted root certificate. So you can see here it's still working away. Hopefully it's going to finish my autopilot process. You can see there it's deployed a certificate. So if I go back here, go to my SCEP, it says error 1. I think that will probably be my, that's my account on that test machine. But it did that on my Surface previously, and then once it actually gone through the whole completion of the autopilot, it actually worked for some reason. So if I go back to configuration, let's go to trusted CA. Got 4 now, which is what you expect. So the system account and user account on my Surface, system account and user account on my Parallels VM. Do I want to use Windows Hello? Yes. So it's going to ask me for MFA. And then it's going to ask me to set a PIN. That's all good. So I'm all set. Okay, so that's logged me on. Let me, so if I go to certificates, manage user certificates, I should hopefully see. So if I go to personal certificates, there you go. There's my SCEP certificate I've just pulled down from Intune. Go into trusted root certificates. There's my trusted root certificate, so that's all good. So if I go back up to configuration, my SCEP, hopefully do view report. There you go. So there's no error there now. It's got the success. Happy days. So the next thing we need to do is create the VPN profile that is deployed to the devices. So again, that is via create new policy, select platform, Windows 10 and later, templates, and we want to go to VPN. So if we hit create, give it a name, file dev-VPN profile. Let's just call it that for argument's sake just now. So it's a user VPN. Device doesn't work, I believe, via Entra Joined, which I'm not surprised. So it's IKE v2 native, base VN, VPN information. So again, if you're following in the blog post, call it Andy Kemp dev dash always on VPN. Just going to call this default and then the VPN server. So vpn.andykemp.dev. And I'm going to make that the default one true. Enable internal DNS, yes, no. I'm going to say yes. Always on is yes. Remember credentials you don't need to worry about. And we're going to use EAP for authentication methods. And here we want to select the trusted root certificate. So we select that one. Sorry, not the trusted root certificate. It's the user certificate. So we select the user account certificate that's created. So we're going to use that profile. And then we want some XML in here. So for that, if we head back over to our template machine, so the one we created earlier, don't know who that is, but that's just been put in there. So let's head over to a PowerShell session. So let's run terminal. And then in part 5 on the blog series, you'll see some PowerShell in the create VPN profile part. So if I'm just going to copy that here and there you go. It's slowly running. I've got too much running on my Mac at the moment, so it's struggling. So if I paste that in, yes. You may get an error here because I did a typo earlier in my other script. I missed out the A from template. So when I did get template, it said can't find it. So I just had to rename that connection. Just put the A in there. So if you've been following along, copying it word for word, you'll have that error, but hopefully you don't. So I now want that XML. So we've got this. So this basically has all the connection properties that we created in that VPN. So it says the trusted root certificate is this thumbprint. So that's your certificate authority. So if you copy this from mine, then it's not going to work because my thumbprint's linked to my certificate. So copy all of this. and then head back over here and paste it into the EAP section. And that's that part done. Next, we don't need to worry about any of this. We just leave that as the default. We want to, you can do conditional access if you want, but for just now, I'm just going to go down to DNS settings. So my DNS suffix, my domain name is ad.andykemp.dev. I'm going to add that in, and name resolution policy table. So I just want to add in my DNS server. So again, the domain is ad.andykemp.dev, and I've only got the one just now. So let me just add in my DNS server, 192.168.11.4, I think it is. Soon find out. Don't need proxy, don't need anything else there. So if I hit save. VPN split tunneling. So what you want to do is, do you want all your traffic to go through the VPN? Not really, I would say. So here I would add in your address ranges. So mine, I'm just checking in my blog post again for what I've got set up. So I have 192.2. I can't type just now. 192.168.8.0, and that's a /20. Why is that not coming up? Let's delete that one just now. I think it's because I had an error there. 8.2, 8.0 even. I'll just do /20 like that, and then Y. Oh, what did I want to enable? Sorry, 192.168.8.0, and it's a /20, and then I've got 192.168. I think it's 144.0, 144.0, and that is a /22. No, sorry, that's /20, and that is /22. So that's my on-prem, so my home network, and that's my cloud, so my Azure network. Trusted network detection. So this is what DNS suffix is it going to look at. So again, ad.andykemp.dev. And if I hit next. Assignments, I want to add groups. So again, I'm going to add it to my default device group and anybody who's on the VPN users group. Select, next. Don't need anything in there. Review and create. So give it a review, see what there is. So you can see that XML we copied there, and hit create. So that's created the profile. So if I hit devices and refresh, you can see it there. It's created. So the next thing is if I don't need this machine anymore, so let me just shut that one down. Yes, I want to let it access my camera. I'm probably again hitting it too soon. Go to settings. Yes, I want to activate my microphone, accounts, work or school, info. Let's just do a sync, see if it pulls down the profile. I doubt it will just now because I've literally only just created it. And what we should see then is we should see VPN pop up here shortly. But again, I don't think it's going to show up just now because I've only just created it. No, not there yet. So why don't I just stop the video just now and show you it once it's deployed. So that's it still syncing. I've only waited a few more minutes and you can see now that it's connected. So that's deployed the VPN profile, it's all connected, and I should still have internet access. Yes, I want to sign in because that's me. Let's go to bing.com. Yep, still got internet access. And then if I just load up a command prompt, want disk cleaner, come on, cmd. If I do ping ed.idcamp.dev, should hopefully solve my network. Can't find it. Okay, it's a bit of a worry. Let's just try ping 192.168.11.4. Yeah, that's not like it. It might be something to do with my routing, to be honest, because my internet routing is set up in a nice weird way. But if I just try this one, actually I know why, because I've not set up the routing on premises to receive anything from that IP address, I think it is. So 192.168.150.5, that's my VPN server in the cloud, and it's letting me log in to that. So that's all good. Yeah, the reason I can't ping my network is purely because I've not set my routing up. So again, you need to make sure all your network and everything is in order to do so. But that is now Always On VPN set up. You can do it through a domain joined device, or if you want to use an Entra device, you can now set it up this way to work via Entra Joined only. The NDES infrastructure isn't a huge hardship, it's just a single server, but you can also do this through Cloud PKI. So I'm going to do a separate video, not part of this series. It'll just be a separate one on using Cloud PKI and integrating that with your on-premises CA as well. Because as I've discovered, I may be wrong, but for my experience, is I needed to deploy the certificates to the servers anyway. So, excuse me, so I needed to use my internal CA for that, and then just used a cloud certificate from Intune. I think I've got it set up here because I did that before, so I'll delete it. But effectively, yeah, I can then deploy certificates via... Oh, that's been removed, which is good. So you deploy certificates from here instead. So I'll do that as another video. But yeah, I hope this has been useful. Sorry it's been here, there and everywhere, and it's quite a long one. I think I'm up to about an hour and 40 minutes. So that's kind of a mini or feature-length film, almost. But yeah, hopefully following along with the blog post has been beneficial. Let me know in your comments that you have, if it has worked. But yeah, I'll do the next video soon. Thank you.